As you know, on May 5th, Spain received a distress call. It came from a small vessel in the Atlantic Ocean, but that alert also came from the World Health Organization, the European Union, and more than 23 governments around the world asking us to help repatriate a group of people threatened by a Hantavirus outbreak. Some people recommended that we ignore the call. A few even demanded it. Others, who usually have opinions on everything, remained conveniently silent and stood aside, as though Spanish citizens were not also aboard that ship. At the time, we heard many public representatives asking why the African nation of Cape Verde was not hosting the operation. Why did it have to be Spain? But we were clear that this was not the right question. The real question was, why would we not protect our fellow citizens who were on that cruise ship? And why would we not help those in need if it was within our power to do so? This world does not need more selfishness or more fear. What it needs are countries willing to step forward in solidarity. That is why, on the afternoon of May 5th, we officially informed the World Health Organization that Spain would fulfill its duty, as we always have, and that Spain would receive the MV Hondius on the coast of Tenerife, which experts from the WHO identified as the first suitable port along the ship's route.
In an extraordinary address, the Spanish leader defended the decision to receive the vessel in the Canary Islands, arguing that abandoning the passengers at sea would have been both morally indefensible and strategically dangerous. According to Spanish officials, the operation was coordinated with the World Health Organization, the European Union, and more than 23 governments whose nationals were aboard the ship. Over 120 people were ultimately repatriated through special emergency flights under a massive multinational containment operation involving hundreds of medical personnel, security officials, and emergency responders. What makes the decision so politically explosive is that Sánchez knowingly stepped into a storm of domestic criticism at a moment when public fear was rising. Analysts say the Prime Minister risked not only political damage, but public outrage by choosing international cooperation over isolation. And yet, supporters argue that was precisely the point. The Spanish government now says the decision reflected 4 principles: science, transparency, coordination, and international solidarity. Officials insist that if nations begin refusing humanitarian responsibility during outbreaks, the global system designed to stop pandemics could collapse under fear and political hesitation. For many observers, the parallels to the early days of COVID-19 are impossible to ignore. Back then, confusion, delays, and governments acting independently helped turn a regional outbreak into a global disaster. This time, Spain appears determined to show the world a different model, one based on rapid coordination instead of paralysis. The symbolism is powerful. At a time when many countries reportedly hesitated to take responsibility for the vessel, Spain stepped forward publicly and accepted the burden. In doing so, Sánchez framed the crisis not simply as a Spanish problem, but as a test of whether nations still believe in international cooperation during moments of fear. Tonight, supporters are calling the move courageous leadership. Critics continue to call it reckless. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Had Spain refused the ship as well, the MV Hondius crisis could have evolved into a far more dangerous international standoff, with infected passengers stranded at sea, governments blaming one another, and global panic escalating by the hour. Instead, the operation concluded without major incident. And now, as the world reflects on the outcome, many are asking whether Spain and its Prime Minister may have just demonstrated what leadership during a global emergency is supposed to look like.
I know this is a model And I hope other countries also learn from this, not just the obligation part, but the compassion and solidarity that Spain has shown. And I repeat again, in this divided and divisive world, which is in a very dangerous trajectory, I think what's important is kindness and taking care of each other. So thank you again for your leadership, Your Excellency. Very proud of Spain and very proud of you. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.